Central Coast Marine Rescue, Central Coast Marine Rescue, Central Coast Marine Rescue. Procedural radio check at Gosford Main Boat Ramp. This is CC-130. Over.
This is calling Marine Rescue Central Coast, reading you loud and clear on channel 16. Over.
Central Coast Marine Rescue, CC-130 to follow app, log on and log off procedures. CC-130 out.
Marine Rescue Central Coast out.
How are you? There's all the seagulls. We'll go. Well, there's no wind today. Look at that sunset. Spectacular. You've got to punch on. You've got to punch on. Okay? You've just got to punch on. You've got no choice. That's all there is to it. No good pining, no good worrying. Don't put up with people's shit. That's it. You don't have to. So why would you? Let's go. You're with Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Let's go. Okay. We're on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this sunset paddle today. Let's get into it. There's a bit of a nor'east on. I'd say the kiters would have done a downwind run. Jelly blubbers are still out here. Yeah, a lot of the problem today, and they can make excuses for themselves, the single mothers. This is a single mother's talk. Let's give it to them. They don't like it. But this channel's about protecting people from the unresolved issues and dysfunction of these people. Many of you have been broken to bits by these people. Fortunately, my experience with them is pretty solid. Takes a lot to sort of shake me, but what I do like to do is educate people about what can happen. And extraordinary things can happen with single mothers. And I think a lot of them kid themselves as to what they're actually trying to do or being in a relationship. The old-fashioned women, like my mum, I keep saying this, if we stuck our nose in her business, she'd tell us to get our little asses out. Get out. Mind your own business. Not these days. I'll tell you why. Because the mothers have given themselves over to their children, and the Bible prophesied this. But what the mothers don't realise is the children will turn on them. That's the part that they don't see coming. They'll drain them of their finances. They'll ruin their relationships. The mothers will let them. They won't care if they want them to age. The quicker they're gone. If there's any inheritance, the better. These are the types you're dealing with. I'll just check the equipment. Yeah, we're filming. Sorry viewers, I've just got to make sure that we are filming. And as the mother who has usually groomed these children to be dependent on her, adult children, that's why they stay around, it's too good. You'll see this all the time if you open your eyes, because it all looks wonderful on the surface, but you don't see behind the scenes. A lot of these young men eventually do, if they can, estrange their mothers. The mother ends up with nobody. Although they are cunning, they'll find somebody that'll put up with them. I'll go under. I'll go under. You're... No, let me go under. No. You're alright, mate. How you doing? Hey. There's a few around. How you going, mate? Good to see you out. And what the thing is for me at my age and my experience with life, and you know, paying the price of avoiding alcohol and drugs and producing where I can. What I'm running into are people that don't last. Their habits are bad, their lifestyles are shot, their cunning is cut snakes. They know what they're doing. Don't play the naive card with these people. They know exactly what they're doing. I'll tell you how I know. They do what their sons say. They know how to respond to their sons' tantrums and mood swings. They hop, skip and jump when the golden child wants something. But what they'll do is, everybody will harmonise for mummy for the first 3, 6, maybe 9, 12 months or so. After that, hang on a sec. Mummy might like this person too much. And we might lose mummy. Now that's a threat. Alright, that's a threat, because if these people are dependent on the mother, which isn't always the case, there are women that do have boundaries around their children. I've had a few now that haven't, and I've seen what it does to them. It absolutely destroys everything they've got, because there's no conscience. Just the intrusion, the hostility, the invasion, the vandalism, this all comes with it for these ones that are hostile, little narcissists, which they do get off their mother or their father from the pain and the hurt that's come out of the broken relationship, or the way in which they've been treated in the relationship. And the narcissism can manifest in all different ways. For the mother, the narcissism will sabotage her relationship by way of emotional incest, where she'll be enmeshed with the children, or the child, the adult child. He'll play up, mummy, you're taking your attention away from me. and all this rubbish and nonsense, which will cause her conflict within herself because she's got invested interest in that as well. So she has to protect that and try and manage a relationship, but the priority will initially go to the children. Hang on. No. And so initially things will stay as they are. That gives you time to work out how deep the enmeshment is, right? And that's going to tell you, depending on your skill with emotional incest, how long you've got before there's a narcissistic collapse, psychological collapse, because the child is going to collapse. That's all there is to it. There's no other way of saying it. There's going to be a psychological collapse by the adult child because he's been getting all mummy's attention before you come along. You've got to be real. So if you understand this, then you can now figure out and watch these people narcissistically collapse, right? And it's theatre. It is just woeful, but it's dangerous because it becomes vicious, and these people don't want you around. You've got to understand that. They don't want you around interfering with their life with their mummy. All right, I remember the woman I married, her son, my God, look, everybody was just mortified with how much of a simpleton this guy was when it came to his mother. He was like a little baby, but a dirty little baby that needed his mummy, and would put on an act if that wasn't happening. And this is what happens even with the tough ones that are groomed into enmeshment. I've seen, well, apparently tough guys that have just narcissistically, psychologically broken down and gone overt, become extremely hostile. Like, I mean making up stories, and the mother's been there. And this gives you a measure on the mother's faithfulness, how it's all going to work out. If she ain't got the capability of getting to the root of it and going, okay, that's not fair, and just leaves it to simmer, she's not a woman of resolve. She's a seductress, because she isn't doing anything. That means she's seducing the situation in a way in which nothing happens. And if you're not aware of this, you can waste years, decades, like women and men do with narcissists all the time. Just being used as supply. I've had intimate relationships with love, right? But I've also had intimate relationships with love bombing. And you can see on our tree they're getting more flowers. Man, this tree's going to be spectacular when it really comes out. I'll get you close up here of the flowers. Look how beautiful those flowers are for the ladies watching, including the exes. Hello. And it just doesn't benefit anyone when this stuff happens. Nobody benefits at all. Most of all the sons, because the mother shouldn't be buying into the desires of the son. And they do, because there's no male there. The males let everyone down. The males left a bad representation of men behind from his effort, usually alcohol and Christ knows what else they get into in their narcissism and psychopathy. So, and the funny part about it is these people will glorify these fools. So there's a level of conditioning that goes on within the minds of these single mothers that they'll never get out of their system. And that's the danger. You're a totally different kettle of fish, and that might fascinate them, but it's not going to reculturalize them. It's too late. At my age, they're all set in their ways. And you better ask yourself, is it worth my time investing into this person? And unfortunately, even after marrying one of them, the answer was no. I couldn't even get a correct read on that. No, being that even after marriage, the woman was psychologically in bed with the son. And I mean literally. It's disgraceful. But we try and make things happen that are never going to happen. And you really have to be careful who you're mixing with when you get to this stage. Really. You get these older women that have burned themselves out. They get on the internet, dating sites, thinking they're cougars. The young blokes come and have sex with them and then laugh at them behind their backs. And the women try and use this for their ego, but they're really only making fools of themselves, silly old fools of themselves, silly old sluts of themselves. And they'll boast about it in front of their children. It's disgraceful. Oh my goodness. They faint. They have, well, as they get older, the aging reprobate. They get ill. Nobody wants to be around them. Their silly decision making betrays them. So do their children, who they've devoted themselves to way beyond what they should have. Everything gets taken for granted. As they get sicker and lonelier, they become more hostile and angrier. This causes a panic in the house, where the young adults will now take control of the adult, of the adult parent, and make them the child. It's all downhill. You can put a golden egg in front of these silly old women. You can put a golden egg in their purse, right? And they won't even know it's there. They won't even know what to do with it. That's what I've learned. You can put the world is their oyster and sit it in front of them and they won't even know it's there. That's how warped this is. That's how warped and crazy this all is. You can have an exclusive relationship with these people. They'll try and condition you. Don't let them. To their silly ways. Don't let them. It's all planned out before you come along. And sunset. And as the relationship goes on, if they really do like you, they will try and untangle from the spawn, the adult spawn. But what will happen is the adult spawn in their psychopathy, they know exactly what triggers and buttons to press on the parent, on the mother, and they don't stop. So the mother goes back again. While you're emotionally standing there going, is this for real? Well, you better believe it, it is for real. And your time's going down the tubes. You're better off being on your own. Do you understand? These people love themselves too. They've got a grandiosity view of themselves, but as they get older and start to age and their chemicals and everything start to break down their bodies and their mental capacity to present themselves, because they do, the mask falls off and you sort of have to pretend that you're not seeing it, but the mask falls off all the time and you're standing there and you're going, oh really, is this really my partner? And the mask falls off and you're just standing there and you're going, you can have a better life. They can have a better life. You're trying to lead the way. You're trying to show them the way. We all can have a better life. Let's just get some order. But they don't know what that is. That's the problem. They don't know what that is. So it's never going to happen. And it's a matter of how much you can take. It's not a matter about these people are bad and all. This is where the simps come in. You're talking, no. Well, buddy, you go and experience it. A lot of these people see a set of tits or something like that, and they lose all cognitive ability to be rational. They're desperate. Okay. You don't want to be taking advice off them ones. And as you're watching all this unfold in front of you, things start to deteriorate, the person starts to struggle. There can be, it's not always, but there can be a moment where they start to come across. But it'll dissipate. And this is the crossroad. This is where you either make the decision to stay or go, because at this point they could go into degeneration. They peak and you think, this is fantastic. They're cuddling you in the back, you know, everybody's getting along, and then all of a sudden from there it just goes downhill because there's too many interferences that you don't know about going on. And that's just how that sort of behavior works. And there's nothing you can do about it. It just works that way as we paddle backwards. Still surprised by the amount of jelly blubbers that are out here. Father, as the sun sets today, may we learn the lessons that are going to help us to grow and develop, broaden our minds and our understanding so that we can reach and help others, help us to maintain our masculinity and femininity with strength and with wisdom and with order. And Father, as the sun sets today and rises in the morning, help us to maintain strength, resilience, and honor, so that in our journey we can be the best example that we possibly can be for the people in our lives and for the people around us. You're a good God. We live in a good world if we navigate it properly, and I thank you for what you've given us. In the name of Jesus, thank you for your Spirit. Amen. Well, I hope you enjoyed that scenery as we go in now. Let's get across the bay. Still a lot of jelly bobbers, viewers. I don't know if you can see the silhouette of them under the water. I pray for my enemies as well. Jesus asked me to do that in the Bible, so there you go. In his name. I hope my teachings are bringing understanding to what we're up against. The narcissist is somebody who just wants their supply, and if they can find somebody that'll do that, then good luck to them. Really, honestly, you know, it's none of your business. It's only your business if that's what's happening to you. And it does cause trauma, viewers, despite what people say. And then it's a matter of your skills in sensing that and recovering from that. A lot of the listeners were pedigree Christians or Christians by generation, and you've turned your back on it. That's your business. And you have reasons for that. A lot of you people have been abused by Christians in the family. Psychopathic Christians in the family. And yes, I can understand why you would have objections to Christianity. I can completely understand that. Christianity is dangerous if it's not interpreted correctly. It can actually turn you evil and a bit mental. But if you get it right, the simple message is not to harm yourself or anybody else. The problem today is a lack of resolve, and without resolve, relationships will go down the tubes, and there's not much you can do about it at that point, because unresolved, somebody with resentment and bitterness that they've probably carried on from their last relationship, it becomes a cycle. They meet someone new and go through the love bombing stage and all that. Then it starts to degenerate. It's a filthy thing. It really is. It's a filthy thing. Where you attach and then all of a sudden you're going, what have I attached to? And it just doesn't produce anything. It's horrible. Really, really horrible. The next thing you got the minions and gremlins and flying monkeys interfering. It's just horrible. And people are good at hiding it. They know how to hide it long enough for you to buy in to the franchise, long enough for you to bond to that person, and then it's too late. It's just too late. At that point you need to recognize. See, a lot of Christian preachers will tell you to stay. Just stay. I don't agree with that. I think if somebody's being abusive and negligent, go. Give them the options, and if they want to fart ass around, which a lot of these people will, and not do what they say they're going to do, Go. Just go. Really, honestly, I'm sorry. Somebody's being negligent and abusive. Just go. Well, where's the provision for that in the Bible? It's in there. Don't you worry. It's divorce just out of convenience that's wrong. Divorce out of necessity, legitimate necessity, that's not wrong. That's legit. I hope you've enjoyed this journey this afternoon. Thank you for coming along. If you think it's worth a subscription, press the subscribe button. If not, I'll have to do better next time, which I will as I try and there's still so many jelly bobbers. It's incredible. It's like glass now, isn't it? God will make a way where there seems to be no way. It's the first time in my life I've gotten to the point where I'm content to just be on my own. I'm sick and tired of people's rubbish and garbage. And when it's so easy to fix, well, it seems to be. It must be harder than I thought. Thank you for joining me. And bye for now.